Vice Mayor, 7:00.
Good evening. We're going to call this town council meeting to order Tuesday, July.
You might want to wait till.
Oh, he gave me the thumbs
Oh,
up.
he did, okay.
He did. Are we good,
Are
sir?
you all right?
Okay, there we go. Thank you. So we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with a prayer by Pastor Sam Metcalf. Vice Mayor. We got to do roll call first. First, we'll start with roll call. Sandy, keep me straight, please. I don't do this often enough.
Yes, ma'am, not a problem. Councilman Brown,
Present.
Councilman Fields.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Pete,
Here.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes,
Mayor Wood. Ma'am, you have a quorum.
thank you. Okay, Pastor Metcalf from the Greater New Life Christian Fellowship Church in Triangle, Virginia.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. If we can bow our head. Father God, we thank you for this day, Lord. God, I pray for every councilman, Father God, for every regulation, for every ordinance, for every contract that needs to be signed, for the people in the town of Dumfries. I pray that every decision that's made, Father God, is with an intelligent decision. And God, we put you first in everything that we do. We thank you and we bless you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, thank you. Stand please for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
All right, thank you. Can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Ma'am, we'll call for the vote.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles. Aye. Councilwoman Peterson,
Yes.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes,
The vote carried 6-0.
thank you. Moving into awards and proclamations. We have two proclamations this evening. The proclamation for National Watermelon Month being read by Councilman Tyrone Brown. And my understanding, Mr. Brown, is that Mr. Gary Sessoms will not be present to receive his proclamation. However, there is a young lady here who will accept on his behalf. Yes? Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. National Watermelon Month Proclamation. Whereas the town of Dumfries recognized the vital role of local farmers in the agricultural community in providing fresh, nutritious produce to our residents. And whereas the town council is committed to celebrating and supporting our local farmers who contribute to the town's food security and economic vitality. And whereas July is designated as National Watermelon Month, a time to honor and appreciate the delightful, refreshing fruit that symbolizes summer in abundance. And whereas Gary Sessoms, an esteemed member of our farming community, has consistently provided our residents with the finest watermelons, cultivating a tradition of quality and excellence. And whereas the farmers market under Gary Sessoms' leadership has become a cherished gathering place for community members, fostering connections and supporting local agriculture. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the town of Dumfries Town Council that the month of July shall officially be recognized as National Watermelon Month in the town of Dumfries, a time to celebrate and enjoy the bountiful, refreshing goodness of this beloved fruit. The town council extends its deepest gratitude to Gary Sessoms for his dedication, hard work, and commitment to providing our community with the finest watermelons, contributing to our overall well-being. The town council commends Gary Sessoms for his leadership in establishing and nurturing the farmers market, a valuable platform that supports local farmers and connects our community with fresh, local grown produce. The town council encourages all residents to visit the farmers market and support Gary Sessoms and other local farmers during the National Watermelon Month, promoting sustainable agriculture and fostering a stronger and healthy community. Signed, Derek Woods, Town of Dumfries, July 11, 2023. So let me just make a couple of comments. The farmers market that the town has brought to our citizens, it fills a gap. And if you don't like, or you haven't had fresh vegetables and fruits, you ought to come out and try what's at the marketplace. As a child, I grew up on a farm. I used to grow watermelons. I used to grow squash, cucumbers, all of that, and I take it to the market. So I understand the labor of love that it takes to actually do farm work. It's not easy. We have it pretty easy. We just walk out in a parking lot and buy fresh vegetables. So I just want to honor Gary Sessoms and what he does for the town of Dumfries. With that,
Okay. Okay, so I've known Gary for 9 years, and I know he's been farming his whole entire life. So his father was a farmer. He grew up on a farm, and that's his passion. And to bring professionalism and quality to Dumfries and the area is his main concern. He appreciates everything, and he just wants this to be a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Next, we have a National Ice Cream Month proclamation to be read by Councilman Brown again.
National Ice Cream Month proclamation. Whereas the town council is committed to honoring and supporting our local entrepreneurs who contribute to the town's economic and cultural growth. And whereas Jesse, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correct, Jesse Burgess, as the esteemed owner of Jimmy T's Ice, has made substantial contributions to the culinary landscape of our town. And whereas the month of July is designated as National Ice Cream Month, a time to celebrate and appreciate the delectable frozen delight that brings joy to individuals of all ages. And whereas Jesse Burgers through Jimmy T's Ice has consistently provided our residents with a delightful array of ice cream flavors, enhancing our community's gastronomic experience. And whereas Jimmy T's Ice has become a beloved destination for families, friends, and visitors, creating cherished memories and fostering a sense of togetherness. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Town of Dumfries Town Council that the month of July shall officially be recognized as National Ice Cream Month in the Town of Dumfries, serving as a time to celebrate, relish the joys of this beloved frozen dessert. The Town Council extends its sincere gratitude to Jesse Burgess, owner of Jimmy T's Ice, for his unwavering dedication, innovation, and invaluable contributions to our town's culinary landscape. The Town Council commends Jesse Burgess for his steadfast commitment to providing exceptional ice cream and cultivating a warm and inviting atmosphere that unite our community. The Town Council encourages all residents and visitors to actively support local businesses, including Jimmy T's Ice, during the National Ice Cream Month and beyond, fostering continued economic prosperity and vibrancy of our town. Do we have someone to accept?
Madam Clerk, Mr. Burgess is here. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Mr. Burgess of Jimmy T's is not here, so we will hold on to that for him and get it to him at a later date. Thank you, Councilman Brown. Moving on, next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? I see no discussion. Ma'am, call for the question, please.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes,
Madam, the motion carries 6-0.
thank you. All right. Next, we'll move into citizen comment period. Are there any citizens signed up to speak this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Annette Newman would like to speak regarding our zip trip.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Newman.
Good evening, council. I just wanted to say thank you. It was amazing on Friday. I had to go to work, but I got a chance to come by and you guys did a fabulous job out there with Channel 5. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys who put it together. And actually, when I got to work, one of the ladies there was like, "You live in Dumfries, right?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "It's amazing." She watched a lot of the shows, but this one, she said, was one of the best ones that she's seen that they did for the state of Virginia. So I just want to say thank you to you guys and relay her message to you guys. Thank you.
Ma'am, no one else has signed up to speak tonight.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move into mayor and council comments. Starting to my left, Councilman Fields.
Yes, the zip trip was a blast. And I'm so happy for our outstanding staff to put this on. It was just wonderful. And I'm just going to end it with this. Ain't no party like a Dumfries party because Dumfries party don't stop.
All right. Councilwoman Peterson,
I don't have anything.
thank you. Councilman Pete.
Yes, good evening. I just want to say thank you to all the citizens and residents that came out to the zip trip. It was a fabulous attraction there. It's one of the things that we like to do here in the town. And after the COVID, we're kind of getting back into the groove of things. And everybody, come on out to Dumfries. You know, we have some things that are going on and that are going to be in place that you guys may like and can be pretty much familiar with and recognize some of the things that we used to do in the past, and we're bringing them back to surface. So do come on now because Dumfries is getting back live, y'all. I do want to say it is hot out here, as we all do know. Please check on your neighbors. You know, not in this state, but I had another family member, you know, just something real quick. I had a family member yesterday. We had to check on a family member, and due to heat causes, he was unresponsive at the house. Just doing a check-in on the family, we were able to get him some help and get him seen at the hospital and everything. But he's doing well on another note. But that's just a reminder to remind everyone to check on your neighbors, check on your family members. And, you know, you might have some friction, but it doesn't hurt to call someone and say, "Hey, are you okay? Hey, is everything fine? Or do you need anything?" If we can help, we can help. If you can help your neighbor, you can help your family member, help your family member. Again, we're in the middle of the summer, getting groomed back into sporting and our school. We're getting back to school here shortly. So be mindful of the children that are still out at play. There are a lot of children still out at play, running around as we're passing out and about. Just be mindful of our youth. I want to say thank you to our police department as always. Chief Galen, you always do an awesome job. I don't know how you put your plans together with the department, but you do an excellent job. Town manager, you have an excellent chief there. Thank you, Tangi, again, for assisting with all of our events and, you know, being an excellent town clerk for us. You're doing an excellent job there. Thank you to all the citizens that are here. Pastor Sam, thank you again for coming and give us the prayer today. It's turning out to be a nice summer that we haven't had within a long time. Going back to the farmer's market, if you haven't had that yellow watermelon, good gracious, get you that yellow watermelon. I forgot the guy's name again, but he has the yellow watermelon, am I correct? The orange, and he has the red also. I don't do the red now no more that I done taste the yellow one. So if you haven't had a yellow watermelon, go grab that yellow watermelon. Drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water, please, y'all. I'm working on drinking more water myself. Outside of that, Vice Mayor, I conclude.
Thank you, Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I just want to reflect on the loss of life that we had in Dumfries about 2-3 weeks ago. Last time I was here, we had a gun violence proclamation, and the very next week, there was a shooting in Dumfries. I'm not going to allow this to be normal. And as a citizen of Dumfries, we should not allow gun violence to be a normal day in Dumfries. We have to push back on the lawmakers, the politicians who are supporting, not supporting, but not acting on the needs of this country, not just the town of Dumfries. My understanding, the person that came here was not from here and used a weapon here in our town. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with anyone that comes to my house that has a weapon on. They don't come in my house. So if you're bringing a weapon into this town and you're not a resident here, that's a problem in itself. I carry a concealed weapon. I have 7 guns at my house. I am a gun advocate, believe that. I'm from the country. I hunt rabbits, squirrels. I did all of that. Deer, I do that. So I can understand the passion for some people to want to have guns. However, I can't understand those same people not saying that we have a gun violence problem in this country. This is not going to change unless we as a community, as a town, as a county, force our elected officials to do something about this. It starts here and moves up to the Senate. But we have to make a stand. And if we don't, it's just going to get worse. So I plead to our citizens to join forces with me, petition our elected officials to do something about gun violence. On another note, as a young sailor, almost 40 years ago, I got caught speeding doing 109 miles an hour in the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit zone. And there was a car in front of me. We were racing on I-20. Please stop me. The car in front of me got away. Didn't get away because the police officer said that I can't get both of you. Point I'm making here is I got caught. Life is not fair. If you do something wrong and you get caught, you have to pay the price. You broke the law, pay the price. Take that same scenario and look at what's happening at higher levels in Congress and in our Senate and House. People are visible. You can see that they are committing crimes. You can see that they're breaking the law. And you have citizens petition saying that it's not fair because one got away and one got caught. Life is not fair. It is what it is. If you get caught, most of us probably break the speed limit. Well, I can say most of us. I can say most of us. But I'm saying it's easy to break a law. You don't get caught, you're okay. But when you get caught, you can't tell an officer that I was doing 66 and the 65. Well, it's speed limit of 65 and you're doing 66, you broke the law. You should be getting a ticket. That's what it is. So let's look at these comparisons of what's fair and what's not fair, and it's a law being broken. And keep that in mind when you're voting this cycle coming up. Just keep that in mind. And with that, I yield for.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Miles, Pro Tem Miles, excuse me.
No problem. Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I just want to go on record and say I never speed. Never.
Running off order.
So, never. Hear that, Chief? I never do that. So, but yeah, I just want to congratulate the town on a successful zip trip. I've been hearing about it all week. in the region. And I want to thank the staff because it would have not come to fruition without all your hard work and sticking with it. And you know, you're all my favorites, but I have to call out specifically Tangi for her hard work and Yvette, our event coordinator, who really, they were here at like 4 o'clock in the morning and they were setting up and they were making sure everybody had what they needed. And that's the kind of dedication that makes our event successful, that makes Dumfries thrive. So I want to thank you for all your hard work. And with that, I will yield the floor.
Thank you. All right, so touching back on one of the things that Councilman Brown mentioned about the farmers market, we are very fortunate to have the farmers market here because we have a food desert here in Dumfries. So the farmers market fills a very big gap. So please do take advantage of it while it's here because it is a resource brought to you all in order to help fill that gap. And at the farmers market, please correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, but we do accept SNAP and other forms of payment at the farmers market. I know at one time we did. Are we still able to do that?
Ma'am, at one time we did. Currently, we're not able to, but we are looking to start that up again real soon.
Okay, okay. When we are able to start that back up, can we make sure that our citizens know that? Because it definitely helps us reach a broader audience when we are able to. But in the meantime, it is there and it does help to fill a gap with regard to us being a food desert. Being able to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables are important to our nutrition and the nutrition of our children. I do also mirror the comments of my council members here with regard to the ZIP trip. Many thanks again to the staff. I also want to thank Fox News for coming to Dumfries and highlighting our awesome town. Thank you to the citizens as well as our neighboring citizens who came out and helped us to show Fox News and their very vast audience how awesome we are in Dumfries. So as the mayor says at every opportunity he is given with the microphone, that Destination Dumfries, right? So Fox 5 showed everybody why we are a place to drive to, and we will continue as a council to make Dumfries a place that people come to on purpose. So as you've seen from that display with the Fox Zip trip, that's what we're doing here. We are rocking out and we are continuing to grow here in the town of Dumfries, and that's what we will do as a unified council. We will continue to come up with reasons to bring you all to Dumfries. So continue to stay tuned. I also want to take a moment to thank Colonial Downs. I'm sure you all seen, if you did not see, but you heard fireworks this past Saturday. It was an awesome display of the fireworks. So thank you very much to Colonial Downs for that display of the fireworks. My son enjoyed a very spectacular view. And I would like to proclaim that display of the fireworks as the close of fireworks season. So I don't want to hear any more fireworks. Fireworks is officially closed here in Dumfries. So we don't need to hear any more until next year. But thank you again for that display. And we look forward to seeing that bigger, better display from on top of the hill next year from the Rose. And so with that said, looking forward, I want to just go over a quick list of the upcoming events we have for 2023. So as I've mentioned, the Dumfries Market on Main, the Farmers Market, is still here, open every Saturday, and it will remain open until September 23rd. It's open Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Please note that the produce vendor is available, however, until 5 p.m. and that is located right here in the parking lot of the Town Hall building, the John Porter Municipal Building. Our 40th National Night Out, which is coordinated by our Dumfries Police Department, is Tuesday, August 1st from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. That also kicks off right here at our Main Street location. We also have Ginn Park Hot Spot Cleanup. That's August 12th from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. That'll be at 3800 Grant Park Road. For more information on that, you can reach out to Raya Nickerson at rnickerson@dumfriesva.gov. We also have the Fall Festival on calendar for September 23rd. We have the tree lighting, December 1st, the Christmas parade, December 9th. And the theme for this year's Christmas parade is Holiday Movie Magic in Dumfries. These dates could, for whatever reason, be subject to change. So just stay tuned to our Facebook pages, as well as the town of Dumfries has social media pages. So, just pay attention to what's happening and keep up with what we have going on, because as you hear from this list, we are really working hard. Our events coordinator and our civic engagement director works very hard to bring us events, to keep us all engaged. And the more you participate, the more we do. So it's like where you have to feed us, for us to feed you. You tell us you're interested and we give back and give you guys more things to be interested in. All right, so moving on. Next, we will get into public hearings. So with regard to the public hearings, we have two public hearings. Public hearing items A and B are both amendments to the code. So if I can ask Nick to please come to the podium. So what we'll do is we will combine items A and B and do one public hearing for the two. Is that sufficient, town attorney, town manager? All right, great, thank you. Nick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So for these two items, all it really is a slight amendment to the already approved site plan and subdivision ordinance. They were approved back in 2021. However, there were some issues that arose when the previous town manager left. He was the acting planning and community development director. When he left, we were not able to approve any, since he left, we are not able to approve any site plan applications or subdivision applications, because how the code reads, only the director of planning and community development is permitted to approve these. So with these proposed amendments before you, it allows the town official who serves as the planning director of planning and community development, or the absence of this position, the zoning administrator, to approve these. This is what the town attorney, the town manager, and I have agreed. We all think this is the best solution, because while there may not be a director of planning and community development, there is always an appointed zoning administrator on staff, and that is why the code or the proposed code amendments read how they do. So for the subdivision, all we're doing is changing the definition of the agent. The agent before, as I said, was the director of planning and community development. It's just too strict of a definition. Also included in the proposed site plan amendment is the repealing of section, here, let me go to it just to read it off for you. It's section 70-547. In consultation with the town attorney, we felt it was best to repeal this because it allowed the planning director to approve waivers administratively. So in cleaning up this language, we wanted to repeal that part as well. And it wasn't up to the state code guidelines. And I just like to point out, I know these same sort of code updates have been before you all twice in the past 3 years. This will be the final time that these will be before you all. We feel that how it is proposed is good, and it covers us it covers us for any future problems that may pop up like this one. So if I'm happy to answer any questions for that, for those two items. If not, that's okay as well. Thanks.
So help me with the order of process, please, Madam Clerk. So do we discuss first, or do we open it up for public hearing first?
It's my understanding that you open it up for the public hearing.
That's what I
first.
thought, right? So
Yes.
I heard Nick just ask if we had questions, so we open it up for public hearing first,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to open it up for public hearing. Two items, amendments to chapter 54 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries for subdivision ordinance. Ordinance approving amendments to chapter 54 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries, the Town of Dumfries subdivision ordinance to revise the town council's agent for the review and approval of subdivision application. And item B, which is ordinance approving zoning text amendments, ZTA 2023-001 to chapter 70, article 4 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries, the zoning ordinance to change the Director of Planning and Community Development to the town official serving as planning director, or in the absence of the planning director, the zoning administrator for the review and approval of the site plan applications and related actions. Okay, so opening it up to public hearing. Is there anyone signed up to speak on the matters related to these two public items?
No one has signed up tonight, Vice Mayor.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who did not sign up that would like to speak on either of these matters? Okay, seeing no one, closing the public hearing. Okay, council, opening the floor for discussion. Any discussion on the dais? Any questions for staff?
Yeah, actually, I have one,
Councilwoman Miles?
thank you. So you said for the Director of Planning, but is that position currently vacant now? Okay, so it would be, are you the acting director or,
Madam,
so who's, so are we just defaulting to, so,
Chair Pro Tem Miles, the position is currently vacant. We are recruiting for it. So what we wanted to do is capture the position in an event that there's an absence, the zoning administrator would do it. But if there's a planning director, they will be the person that perform these functions.
okay, so just have one more question, might sound silly. Would it just make sense to always just default to the zoning administrator since we always have a zoning administrator, but we don't necessarily always have these other roles?
No, the responsibility lies with the Director of Planning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or discussion from the dais? Okay, I'm seeing none. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Fields.
Well, we have to, I'm sorry, we have to, we need a motion,
Oh,
please.
no. I'm ready.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, now we'll call for the question, please.
Councilman Brown.
Aye again.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes,
Ma'am, that motion carried 6-0.
all right, thank you. The next public hearing item is conditional use amendment application CUP A2019-003 for Colonial Downs Group LLC. Staff, Nick, please.
Thank you,
Floor
ma'am.
yours.
So for this application, it's also fairly straightforward as well. The only major change is that Colonial Downs is they want to add up to 10 more machines to the pre-existing facility. So what this application is doing is it's going to amend the approved development conditions. So previously they had space or they were approved for 150 machines. If this were to pass tonight, what they do would install 7 more machines, and then depending on how that goes, they'd add 3 more. So they have up to 160 total machines in there. The only thing they're doing is adding those machines into the space because they already have enough space for that. Because this was open during the pandemic, they only had so many. They have a lot of extra room now because of the license requirements, but also due to the allowance of them to add more machines. Now And that is why they submitted this application. Just a little background on this. I also included in your packet tonight, up in your binder, their application. What they project is they are projecting approximately $4,000 per month in tax revenue added to the town from these machines. So that is, again, that's just based on the past 2.5 years of operation. That could go up, that could go down, depending on, the overall demand. So that's really all I have to add for that. There's not any more interior changes being done. There's not any exterior changes being done. All that's being done is they're adding those 10 machines, up to 10 more machines. And that is all I have.
Okay. Public hearing. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and open up to public hearing. Resolution to approve an amendment for conditional use permit CPU A 2019-003 to allow up to 10 additional gaming machines not to exceed 160 total machines to the existing gaming facility at 18059-18139 Triangle Shopping Plaza. Public hearing is open. Madam Clerk, anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone in the audience tonight here to speak on this matter?
I also just wanted to point out, I believe I have the applicant here tonight. He's here. He can speak. He is from Colonial Downs. If you have any questions after the public hearing is closed.
Well, you're welcome to step to the podium in the event council has questions. So there's no one from the floor that needs to speak. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Thank you.
All right, public hearing is closed. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns from the dais for the representative at the podium?
So my question is to Nick. So the 160 limit, how was that imposed? Is that something the town did or something that the state did? That's what the town imposed.
Yeah, so previously, so this was approved, I believe, in January of 2020. So that I was not here yet, but the previously approved amount was 150 machines. I believe that was what the Racing Commission permitted at that time. Then they passed an amendment, I think, in the last 3 years that allowed up to, I think, 1,800 machines. So that's why there was only that amount. I might be incorrect on that, but that's for what I recall when I read through the background on the previous approved permit. So that's why that amount was chosen at that time. So
I can elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
Council, my name is Jamie Sanko. I'm the Vice President of Administration for the Colonial Downs Group. So the 150 games came out of when HHR legislation was passed. That is tied to where you run the referendum, the population of eligible voters where you run the referendum. Subsequent to original HHR legislation, commercial casinos came in, and we got a little bit of a windfall from that in that now we can build the rows. So we can build bigger facilities. Prior to that, we were capped at 700 games is the most we could do in any of our facilities. With the new casino legislation, we were allowed then to site in an MSA. We chose Dumfries and we're building the rows. So that's how, in the eyes of the VRC, who's our regulator, Virginia Racing Commission, in their eyes, we're eligible for 1,800 games. They don't, as long as we don't go over 1,800 games, they don't really care where we put them or how we put them. So from their perspective, it's just, we're adding 10 games, let them know where we're putting them, give them a site plan similar to what we presented here. The drawing of the map will be the same thing for them. Here's a before, here's an after, here's where we're putting the games. And that's really it. So the regulation right now, or the stopgap on that, is just a conditional use permit that limits me to 150.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Fields?
Yes, thank you. Councilman Brown, that question was spot on what I was going to ask as well. And being that you went into the history of it, that's great to put us where we are, because I remember that old number being 150 or 160. So now, let's say it again, it's approved up to how many now?
1,800 in the town of
1,800. Okay, depending on the space that you have.
Correct. For the rows, we could do in one facility, I'm limited to 1,800, and that's part of the casino bill.
Okay,
Casino
and-
legislation that passed.
And when did this legislation pass?
Before I got to Virginia, so I think it was late 2020.
Okay.
I
after
moved to
we had
Virginia in
already-
February 21. It was after.
Okay, so the
Correct.
next question is, we should not be receiving another conditional use permit for extra games, correct?
No, sir, there's 10 games is the most I could put in the existing space.
Okay,
So our plan is to put 7 in. And as I always plan for the future, I didn't want to have to do this again in 3 months because somebody said, hey, we could put 2 more games here. So I said, let's ask for 10. And the plan is to put 7, and with 7, there's space to put them, but there's not an abundance of space in there. I couldn't put more than 10 more games on that floor without going into another space or expanding, which with the rows coming online wouldn't be something we would entertain. Because by the time we get it up and running, we're going to have our bigger facility ready to go.
okay. I appreciate the transparency, and our citizens will definitely appreciate the transparency and more seating capacity. And our critics will also appreciate the transparency. Thank you.
I have a quick question with regard to the space. Will this impact the capacity as far as the fire marshal and anything of that nature?
Because the zoning's all rated for all the parking, all our parking studies, traffic studies, and internal, it's well above that.
Okay,
So 7 machines, they generally do it as 75% occupancy. So you take 7 times 7.5, and that's generally the people they think that will be in there throughout the day.
Okay.
What it will do is it'll alleviate some of our complaints. Our biggest complaint we get with that facility is the lack of machine count. Busy volumes on a Friday, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, is that we just don't have enough machines. This won't solve it, but it'll at least go a little further into giving people a little bit more of an option to be able to play.
and if we go up to 10, the parking lot can manage as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Councilman Pete?
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I see that we have an increase in tax revenue that will be coming to the town of 4,000 with the increase of gaming machines, 10 additional and maybe 7 in you guys' case that are going to be implemented into the business there. I see the win for you guys. I see the win for the town. My question is always about the residents and the citizens of the town. With the win-win from both sides, from our side to you guys' side, will that help the residents or citizens of the town be employed at you all's business?
Yeah, I mean, all of our facilities, we look to hire local. That's our general philosophy. I mean, I've traveled to all of our properties, and most of our workforce is fairly local. I'm one of the few. I'm a New Yorker. Don't hold that against me, but I came down here to help run these 3 years ago almost, and became adopted to the area. But especially with the rows. So once we get the rows up and running, it's a great opportunity. I mean, this is a great business to get into. It's one of the few businesses in the world that you can start literally entry level and become a senior executive. I've worked with a lot of people in this industry that started as dealers, started working in marketing, started in revenue audit, that became property presidents, general managers. It's very fungible. It's great to move around. It's a great industry. And we would take that philosophy to expand to the rows. It's going to be a much bigger facility and much more robust, and a much better opportunity to be able to hire local. We'll be having job fairs. We start in our communities, and that's generally what we like to do, is hire local. We're in the process right now of opening another Rosen Gaming Emporium in Emporia, Virginia. And we already have 500 or 600 local applications for job fairs for people to come in to work at that facility. So that's where we'll start.
Excellent. That was good, because I'm actually always and wanting to bring the Rose and Rosies to the town of Dumfries. One of my biggest questions in supporting the business coming to the town was, how will there be any of the town's residents employed into you guys' business? That's just one of the things I would, like to see, interested, concerned in it always. I do see that as I went in there a couple of times, that there are some residents that are employed in you guys' businesses, and Just wanted to ask of concern, if there's an increase in us and increase in you guys, will there be an increase in employment for the town citizens?
Yeah, it would be marginal at the little property. I mean, adding 7 gaming positions really doesn't add any employment opportunity because they're slot machines.
Okay,
But, you know, as we get to the rows, that was absolutely something we'd reach out to the communities, and that's where we start.
thank you. Thank you very much for that, because I'm always looking at trying to in any way possible that this council can upgrading any resident or citizen within our town.
Yeah.
But thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any roundabouts, round robins? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. All right, we need a motion, please, to
So move.
Second. All right, it's been motioned and second. Please call for the question, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes,
Vice Mayor, that motion carried 6-0.
thank you. All right, final item on the agenda is to authorize a public hearing on amendments to town code regarding town manager's authority and related matters.
Madam Vice Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
If I might just briefly.
Please.
address it. You have in your package a copy of the various changes. You also have a memorandum that I submitted to council. The proposed amendments are based on the direction that town council gave, that I was to consult with town manager Innes and prepare proposed amendments regarding the town manager's authority and related matters. Once those amendments were drafted, there were the positions of town clerk, town treasurer, town attorney, also had to be adjusted in terms of the ordinance language. So the town clerk will report on town clerk matters to the town council, but on other matters will report to the town manager. The town treasurer will report to the town manager, and the town attorney will continue to report directly to the town council. There are some other stylistic changes that are made, including some things to comport with custom. For example, with respect to preparation of the town budget, I proposed amendments for timely annual preparation by April 15th or such date agreed to with council to address where April 15th might not be an appropriate date. The changes make clear that the town manager appoints all town officials other than those appointed pursuant to state code or the town charter by the town council, which would be the town clerk, the town treasurer, and the town attorney. I'd be glad to go through these amendments in more detail, but I think I've covered them previously with the council, and you have my memorandum, and then we can also discuss them after the public hearing, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I should add that I have conferred with Ms. Innes, and she has concurred with the changes that we're recommending to you.
Okay, well, what we typically do is reserve our conversation for the public hearing. Right, so what we're doing right now is simply looking for a motion to add this public hearing to the calendar for August 8th.
So second.
It's been moved and second. Please call for the question, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor, the motion carries 6-0.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.